Welcome back to News 19 this morning. Well, April marks Child Abuse Prevention Month, a time for state leaders and child advocates to raise awareness about the critical issue of child abuse and neglect in our state. That's why the Children's Trust of South Carolina emphasizing the importance of ensuring every child grows up in a safe and loving environment. So to help us better understand how we can do our part and the organizations that you all partnership, we have Bette Williams with the Children's Trust of South Carolina. Thank you so much, Ms. Williams, for being here.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, I understand last week that you were over at the State House to help kind of advocating for more funding. Can you break down how that went and also what you're looking for?
Yes. So last week we had an event at the State House just to mark the beginning of Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is held every April. We were very fortunate to stand with members of the Joint Citizens Committee on Children. They are the legislative group at the State House, senators and representatives that focus on children's issues. So we were very fortunate to stand with them, make remarks. We were joined by the State Child Advocate, the Department of Social Services, and our partners with the Child Advocacy Centers. So it's just one of those opportunities where we can mark the beginning of a really important awareness month for all of us.
That's what I was going to say. It marks it, but it also really brings awareness. With your organization, talk a little bit about what we're seeing here in South Carolina.
Right. So we have approximately, I believe it's around 13,000 confirmed cases of abuse and neglect each year. And so that could be neglect or that could be abuse. And so it does mark the range, but what we want to do is for Child Abuse Prevention Month, what we want to do is to bring more people into really thinking about what do children and families need so that kids can be brought up and raised in that loving environment so that they can thrive. And for us, that means what do families need? True. You know, what are the context and the protective factors that need to wrap around those families so that kids are safe.
So let's talk about what we can do and talk about, I understand you have a ton of organizations that you already work with.
We do.
What can we do as citizens to help bring awareness
So
to this?
I think one of the most important things is what do families need?
Right.
And so what does that family down the street need? It might be a single mom who just may need a dinner one night. She might need somebody to take her kids to the park to give her a chance to get the house clean or to run to the grocery store or just have a few moments alone. So we know that we reduce abuse and neglect when families have friends. We also know that when families when parents have that inner well of resilience. And so, how do we pour into that? But one of the biggest things that families need is just to know where to go to get help. And so I think that's another thing that citizens can do is to, if you see a mom struggling, how can you help her? We have a website where people can search by zip code and find those local resources that could connect a family to some assistance.
And of course, a little goes a long way.
Exactly.
Being able to help with that. So right there on your screen, you can actually see the website. And just as Ms. Williams just mentioned, it's right over there. Go ahead and choose your county. You can also do it by zip code. And it gives you all the resources that you can help your neighbor. And that's exactly what South Carolina does, I feel. We always do and help our neighbors. Thank you so much for coming by, giving us this perspective, what we're seeing in South Carolina and how we can help. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Of course. All righty, everyone, don't go anywhere. More of News 19 will be back after this quick break.
And before we go to